Welcome to Discover Barnstable, the official podcast of the Town of Barnstable, a podcast where you can meet the people who steward the programs and services for the Town of Barnstable that connects us to our quality of life. We invite you to join the conversation as we navigate municipal government and our community pathways to help you discover Barnstable. I'm Lynn Poyant, and on this episode of Discover Barnstable, we are joined by the Chair of the Disability Commission, Paul Logan, and our Assistant Director of Human Resources, Tammy Cunningham, to discuss all things disability in the Town of Barnstable. Paul Logan is a graduate of Chelmsford High School and Bentley University. He is in his 8th year volunteering with the Barnstable Disability Commission. Retired now, Mr. Logan spent his career in finance, focusing on corporate strategic finance and analysis. Paul generously volunteers his time with the Cotuit Cavaliers as a board member and with the Cape Cod Baseball League as the treasurer, and with his neighborhood board of directors. Paul moved to Cotuit with his wife, Janet, who works in the town clerk's office, and 2 daughters 25 years ago. Although Paul and his wife grew up off Cape, both daughters are proud graduates of Barnstable High School. And I have to say that Kristen and Lauren, I love them both through their efforts with the Barnstable Youth Commission, especially Lauren, who served on that commission. Tammy Cunningham is the Assistant Director of Human Resources, serving in this capacity since 2005. Most recently, she was named the ADA Coordinator for the Town of Barnstable. She originally began her commitment to municipal work in the town of Yarmouth beginning in 1996, which is where she recognized the direct impact the work performed had on the community, prompting her to pursue her education in this area. Tammy holds a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and a Master's in Public Administration with a focus on human resources from Suffolk University. Tammy's tenure with Barnstable has provided her many opportunities, resulting in rewards from her work to include the development of the first employee handbook, successful launches of 2 application tracking systems, and a recent procurement of a $250,000 grant from the Massachusetts Office of Disability for the town to conduct a comprehensive self-evaluation and transition plan. However, she is most proud of the contributions she performs on a daily basis in cultivating a responsive, supportive climate to support the many needs of the town's large workforce. In addition to her position with Barnstable, Tammy currently serves as the Eastern Region PSHRA President, Vice President, Program Chair with the and is Vice President and Program Chair with the Cape Cod Human Resources Association and the South Coast PSHRA Treasurer. That's a mouthful. Welcome, Paul and Tammy. We're really glad to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to start by finding out a little bit about ADA in Barnstable. And there are a ton of acronyms in the disability community. So it's the
Americans Disabilities Act.
Right. And so how does that relate to the workplace, and how does it relate to the Disability Commission?
As far as the Disability Commission, all the 351 cities and towns in the Commonwealth have the opportunity to have a Disability Commission. And the town of Barnstable had brought this about several years ago. Other towns have done it many more years, but the town of Barnstable has a commitment, developed a purpose with the Disability Commission in the town of Barnstable. And the purpose, if I may read it, the purpose of the Barnstable Disability Commission is to advise and guide the town of Barnstable and the general public regarding issues of accessibility in accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act and the Massachusetts Architectural Access Board. In addition, the Barnstable Disability Commission provides information and referral services to residents of the town of Barnstable.
Thank you, Paul. Tammy?
So as it pertains to Barnstable specifically for the ADA is broken down, and the ADA being the Americans Disability Act is broken down into 5 sections, which the town of Barnstable, being a state and local entity, falls under Section 2, Title 2. So that means that as a public entity, we have to be accessible for all individuals with disabilities to be able to access our infrastructure, programs, services, and all other facets that we provide to residents of Barnstable.
Very good. So this is a very broad discussion today. We feel that we're going to have to bring you back for a number of individual programs. But the town recently went through a self-evaluation and transition plan. And do you want to talk a little bit about what that self-evaluation encountered?
Sure. You want me to take that, Paul?
Please.
So one of the requirements under Title II for state and local governments is we are required to have a self-evaluation and transition plan. And what that means is you do a comprehensive evaluation of your infrastructure, your program services. Most commonly with an ADA evaluation, it's the infrastructure you're looking at. And then your transition plan are the steps that you take to get to compliance in deficiencies with inaccessibility. So most recently, and while we had an ADA self-evaluation plan, we hadn't done a comprehensive one in many years. We kind of had a hodgepodge of different plans and things. So the Massachusetts Office of Disability has funding available for planning grants as well as project grants. And for an ADA self-evaluation and transition plan, a community can apply for what's called a planning grant with the purpose of developing these plans. So in 2021, we applied through the Mass Office of Disability for a planning grant. And I'm pleased to say that our efforts yielded actually the maximum grant award, which was $250,000, which was huge for our community. So it allowed us to then put out a request for proposal for a consultant to work with us to achieve the completion of this plan. So we ended up hiring the Institute for Human-Centered Design. They were our consultant, and they partnered with us to create this comprehensive dialogue, which can be found actually on the Town of Barnstable website.
I was going to say, because that plan did a lot of outreach. There were a lot of people that were met with. When you talk about infrastructure, it not only included buildings, but it included parking spaces. It included crosswalks and the ability for a wheelchair to get onto a crosswalk without having that granite bar there, trying to eliminate any barrier for access.
Yeah, that was really to the heart of the plan is the work that the Institute for Human-Centered Design, or IHCD, did for the town of Barnstable. And Tammy was the most instrumental part of applying for that grant. And it was a competitive grant amongst other cities and towns in the state. And even though we had a plan in place, this gave us a more detailed and, as Tammy said, comprehensive plan to attack for the town. Some town can self-fund it. In our case, we had done our homework. Specifically, Tammy had done the majority of it, and as such, it allowed us to present the plan to the Massachusetts Office on Disability, and we've worked collaboratively with them before, and they appreciate the efforts over the many years that the Disability Commission has been in the town. And when we received it, it was our charge at that point to follow through, hiring a contractor, as Tammy mentioned. And if you might remember, that was back during COVID. To say it was challenging would be an understatement. But the charge was not just to the Disability Commission to make it happen. It was the town of Barnstable, from the town manager down. And that's what made a difference, is the town manager embraced this as much as the Disability Commission. And it flowed down, and that's what made it work. And we partnered with an incredible contractor. They're globally recognized, not just nationwide. We were fortunate that they had availability and that they wanted to work with us. And we're moving that forward. I don't know if you want to talk about it more now or in another segment.
Well, let's talk about it now, and then we can delay some of the other items that we have on our list to another time. Because I do remember sitting in on some of those meetings. Mm-hmm. Some of them were done via Zoom, and thank goodness for Zoom.
Yes.
And
mm-hmm.
we were able to have some good conversations, ask questions, because there were certain things that we were required for the website, and we needed to get information. But the entire plan is multiple parts, and the entire plan is actually available on the town's website.
Correct. So one of the things that actually came out of this comprehensive plan, which has multiple sections, it's properties, it's services, it's programs, it was the website. We also have a GIS crosswalk that was created, which looked at the different villages' main streets to identify like sidewalks to know where curb cuts should be, where ramps should be, those sorts of things. But one of the things that, had come out of the plan was that it allows us to collaborate and really identify in the community where things were being done well and where we needed to be better. So it's kind of a snapshot, if you will, at that point of time of where our infrastructure was. And when I say infrastructure, we were not able to look at all of our properties because we're such a huge community with 7 distinct villages, but we were able to evaluate 94 properties in that evaluation plan.
And I remember that kind of informed Ann Quirk, our town clerk, going out with the Secretary of State's office to evaluate our polling locations, because we found that the signage at some of the locations was not high enough. There were certain parking spaces that didn't have the crosshatch available for a van. And there were a number of access points. For instance, at one of the buildings, the handicap accessible ramp was on the north side of the building, but the handicap parking was on the south side, and that didn't make any sense. So it was an opportunity to make some changes there as well.
Yeah, the changes at the polling places have been made, and it collaborated with not only the town clerk's office, Disability Commission was asked to participate, as well as DPW, Department of Public Works, obviously, and that was like a kickoff to starting some of the corrective actions. And one thing that this grant allowed the Disability Commission to do, where every department in the town was involved, be it parking management, information technology, or Department of Public Works, obviously, as Tammy mentioned, human resources. This is the collaboration that we all need to help out in whatever issue that we're dealing with, not just Disability Commission, but any other committees or commissions in the town, and we found success in the small steps we've made so far.
That's wonderful. So what percentage are you at for implementation?
I'll leave that to Tammy.
I'm not sure I could give a hard number because if you've read the plan, it's huge. I will say that I work with DPW regularly in identifying as they are coming up in their work to either renovate a property or to make improvements and things like that. We look to the transition plan to identify where we need to improve access and what that looks like, and as well as prioritize. When it comes to capital planning, is there a plan, whether it's for safety or other reasons, that should be prioritized over something else in the community?
But there have been other wins. For instance, the Disability Commission was a huge advocate for getting closed captioning on our government access channel, which it took us a long time. It was working to find the right vendor to make sure that we were getting the appropriate product that would actually work. But that is out and it's successful. And we've actually also added, we had a system that people attending meetings in person could get hearing assistance. And we are finding that that's being used more. We upgraded the system and we find that there are people that are actually using it. And it's like, wow, I didn't know that this was available to us, and what a difference it's made for me to understand what is going on in a meeting. So that's thanks to the assistance of the Disability Commission.
They do great work.
And there are easy fixes. There are more hurdles to go over on some other fixes. The good thing is, again, from the town manager down in the town of Barnstable, there's a buy-in, as it should be, but sometimes you need that to happen, and the various department heads and division heads in the town have taken the lead after, the Disability Commission can ask for things, whether it's reasonable. Obviously, somebody needs to determine that. As far as closed captioning, it's been of great benefit, including to members of the Disability Commission. And as far as the hearing devices, for town meetings. I mean, the bottom line is everybody should be able to participate in town activities if possible. And the Disability Commission has that charge as a purpose to try to include everybody that has a right to attend and has a right to speak their word.
That's terrific. We really appreciate your efforts. We are closing in on time, but there's two quick things that I do want to ask. The Disability Commission has scholarships available. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. There are 6 scholarships available annually to Barnstable residents, and we have availability of currently those 6 scholarships each carry an amount of $1,250, and we just don't push it to the Barnstable High School. We've got Cape Cod Community College and their Project Forward program. We give out multiple scholarships to Barnstable High School. We also reach out to Cape Tech and get one of their nominees. And the other nominee would be the other school would be the, sort of fumbling here, Tammy, you want to help me? Sturgis Public Charter School. Disability Commission reviews the applications, and we work with the various schools to come up with the best applicants. And the criteria for the scholarships are you either must have a documented disability or being looking forward to your college and working specifically with a disability-related field. And am I missing anything, Tammy?
No.
Okay.
And what is the timing on that? When would someone need to apply for that?
It's actually brought forward by the guidance counselors. Okay. So we have a member on the commission who takes the lead on this, and she reaches out to the guidance counselors of the respective schools, and then the guidance counselors present the candidates to the Barnstable Disability Commission.
Very good. And then you get to select the ultimate recipient, or do they select?
They select the guidance counselors.
Okay. That's the way we used to do it with one of the scholarships that we had, but through COVID, we get all the applications now, and we are the ones that make the ultimate determination. So, and it's so hard. Mm-hmm. It's really hard because we have so many people that are doing so many really good things. So many students are doing some really good things, and you want to reward everyone, and there's just not that kind of money to do that. So when does the Disability Commission meet?
You go, I go?
You can go.
Disability Commission meets on the third Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. Right now, we are still using Zoom, so we're doing electronic meetings. One thing is we found we are able to bring in more folks. We had on our meeting today, we had 2 people driving in a car who were able to join us. One was headed to Boston, the other one was headed off Cape. Somebody else was headed on Cape who just got into the meeting at the beginning. And so it's allowed us to have more participation. We have found that has worked very well. And we hope to get back in person at some point soon. But we're available once a month, third Wednesday, 10 a.m.
And if someone wants to participate, they're able to find the Zoom link on the town website with your agenda. Yes. And do you currently have any vacancies on your board, or are you full?
No, we have
I believe for the first time we have a full board in many years.
Great.
There are 11 slots in the Disability Commission, and we are full up for the first time in quite some time. Tammy can speak better to that. Tammy has been a liaison and member for how many years? Close to 20?
Probably like 18.
18, yeah. So the Disability Commission has been greatly served with Tammy as a liaison.
That's wonderful. We love Tammy. She does a great job here. So, all right, going completely off topic, we have a bonus question for you. If we looked at your music playlist, what would be at the top? Paul, I'm going to go with you first. I saw you looking at Tammy.
Top my music players will be the Beatles, and Queen a close second.
All right, going over the pond. And Tammy?
Taylor Swift.
All right, very good. Giving us a little bit of insight into both of you.
Tammy's choosing somebody who's available right now. The Beatles and Queen with their groups not fully available.
No, they're not. Well, we want to thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule today to join us. We look forward to bringing you back because we have a list of 17 items that we had today, and I think they only covered 3. So we hope that you will come back and talk about a number of the other items that we have here that show just what the Disability Commission is currently doing and what the future plans are going forward. So thank you for that. So we want to thank our listeners for spending time with us and listening to Discover Barnstable, the official podcast of the Town of Barnstable. We hope you found a new understanding of how your municipal government works for you and our community. Be sure to drop us a line at podcast@town.barnstable.ma.us and let us know what you would like to learn next. Until next time, go Discover Barnstable.